So the goal of this lecture is to make it so that if someone hits this log out button, they actually are logged out. And you may be wondering, okay, how do we do this? Do we have like a log out page in which when they click on that, they come to a page and then they submit a form that then logs them out? Like, how does this happen? We can make it a lot better than that, but first things first, let's make the URL. So we're going to go back to our urls.py, and this is under the auth world. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this path, paste it down below, and this will simply just be logout. Okay, and we're going to call this logout user, and I'm going to call this one logout user. Okay, save this, come back to our views. We're going to need another function here that's going to be def logout user. Okay, and we're going to take in a request. And with this code, we only want to log someone out if it is a post. So we want to first check this. And so we're going to say if request dot method, and then we're going to say if this is equal to all caps post. And let me tell you why this is so important. So now that we have this URL, I'm going to show you inside of our base.html, instead of saying the hash sign for the logout, let's go ahead and do our URL here. We're going to say URL logout. Okay. If we keep it like this as a get, because what this does is essentially if you have anything inside of an href, that's a get. Remember, anytime you go to a URL, like that is a get request. If we have this, and I'm going to come back, let's see, what is our issue? Def current to-dos. Oh, we've got some indentation issue. Let's see what's going on here. Ultimately, we have to do something after that if statement. So I'm just going to put a pass there, reload, and no reverse for logout. Oh, and that's because this is supposed to be logout user. Okay, we'll save that. Now reload, and that's working. So you'll notice, like if we hover over this down at the very bottom, if you look in the corner there, it says, localhost / logout. And that would be okay potentially if someone wanted to type out logout, and then that would actually go about logging them out. But here's the problem. Browsers like Chrome, and I think maybe Firefox does this also, is when you load a web page, they will actually look at all the links at the page, meaning all the different A tags. And if they notice a couple of those, they will actually, in your background, start loading those pages. Like they will make a request to those pages so that, like, for example, if you go to some website like Apple's homepage, I'm just going to show you this. So let's go to apple.com. Okay, Chrome, when it loads this page, it loads all the big images that we see here up at the top, but also in the background, it starts loading what would happen if you clicked on Mac or iPad or iPhone, so that when I do click on Mac, it just loads for me that much faster. So it's kind of this cool trick that browsers use just to make things a little bit quicker. The problem with this is if my logout is a GET request, Chrome says, oh, look, here's a tag. I should go ahead and preload this so I can make it faster for the user, and it will log out the user. And I remember this so clearly. I made a website once and everything was awesome until I put the logout page up at the top of my nav bar, and it kept kicking me out anytime as soon as I logged in. And I just thought, well, this is strange. But what it was Chrome just trying to make things quicker, but it was logging it out. So the way to fix this, that whole story was to say, we only want to log someone out if it is a post request. That's why it's so important that we have this line here if someone's going to be logged out. Okay, so let's assume it's a post request. How can we log out someone? It's really simple. All we have to do is up here, the same place that we imported the login, we're going to do a comma and also take the logout function. Okay, and all we have to do here is just say logout. And with this, we just specify what it is that we're going to log out, which is the request. Okay, and then we simply have to return something back. So in our case, I think sending them back to the home page is a good idea. So I'm going to say return, redirect, and I'm going to send them to the home page. Okay, which we don't have a URL for the home page yet. All right, that'll be a little extra thing for us here. So I'm going to copy this, paste. We shall do this for the home page, which I shall just call home. Name is home. Save that there. Then back in views, there's really no rhyme or reason to what order you should have your functions in. I kind of like to have like my home at top and then my auth stuff and then the things for the to-dos. You can decide how you want it. But anyways, I'll do a home with a request and I want to return back an HTML file. So I'll paste this, do the ending parentheses and change this to home.html. So then I'm going to go ahead and make a new file that I'll call like home.html, and I'll copy basically what I have inside of my current. So I'm going to copy all this, come back to home, paste that, but then just have this say home. So now if someone does log out, it should send them back to the home page. But again, the problem is that I have this listed as an A tag, meaning if I try and do the get, I get this error because it said, hey, I came to this function, I wasn't a post, and then nothing ultimately happened here. What am I supposed to do? Well, if we go back to the base here, we should not be linking this as an A tag. So the question is, okay, what are we supposed to do? Well, we're gonna just make a little tiny form right here. So kind of just below here, let's go ahead and create a new form. We'll do the opening and then a closing tag here. All right. With this form, the place that we want it to go is to the logout URL. So I'm going to say action, which that specifies where you want your form to go. And I'm going to say that I want it to go to, cut what we had up there, this logout user. And then I also need to specify here that the method on this is going to be post. Remember, we can only log out if it is a post. So we have that set up there. And then the question is, how do we do this? Well, we've got to include that CSFR thing. So we're going to go back to sign up. Let's go ahead and copy this. And even let's copy that button too. So I'm going to copy and paste that, get rid of the form thing. That's not applicable here. But we're going to change this to say log out. And with this, I can get rid of that A tag. I'm going to save this. Big moment here. Check this out. If I now come to the home page, delete, enter. Okay, it says you're logged in as Haley, but now I have this button. If I click this, it will send a post to log out and hopefully log me out. Look at that. It logged us out. And now we have the options to either sign up or log in. This is so cool. Okay, do you see how bit by bit we're building this functionality? Okay, in the next one, we're going to talk about how it is that we can actually log in a user.